Imagine standing in a quiet room, watching a child sleep, only to notice a tiny, faint pink spot behind their ear. A mark so insignificant that you almost brush it off as a heat rash or a simple irritation from a pillowcase. But as the hours tick by, that single spot begins to multiply, marching down the neck and across the face like an advancing army that refuses to retreat. And suddenly, the air in the room feels heavy with an invisible, suffocating threat that you can't see, smell, or touch. This is the beginning of an ancient, relentless invader that has haunted humanity for centuries, a highly contagious shadow that can hang in the air of a room for 2 full hours after an infected person has left, waiting patiently for its next unsuspecting host to take a single breath. We are talking about a viral takeover so aggressive that it bypasses your primary defenses with terrifying ease, seeking out your immune system not just to bypass it, but to systematically erase its memory, leaving your body a blank slate and vulnerable to every other sickness you've ever fought off. It starts with a cough that sounds like a dry rattle in the chest and eyes that turn a weeping, angry red, making the very light of day feel like a physical assault on the senses. You might think we conquered this foe decades ago, that it's a relic of the past, but the truth is far more alarming. It is clawing its way back into our neighborhoods, exploiting every gap in our armor and preying on the most vulnerable among us while we go about our daily lives. This isn't just a childhood rash or a rite of passage. It is a high-stakes biological gamble where the stakes are as high as permanent brain damage, a lifetime of silence through hearing loss, or a sudden, catastrophic collapse of the respiratory system. The fear isn't just in the fever that burns through the night or the spots that cover the skin. It's in the realization that by the time you see the first mark, the virus has already been replicating inside the lungs and throat for days, turning every exhale into a weapon that could strike down a neighbor, a friend, or a stranger in a grocery store aisle. You find yourself wondering, was that scratchy throat this morning just the dry air, or was it the first sign of a system starting to buckle? Is that slight redness in your child's eyes just allergies, or is it the precursor to a fever that will skyrocket beyond your control? Every minute you spend in doubt is a minute this invisible ghost spends tightening its grip on the people you love most, weaving a web of complications that can emerge years after the initial sickness has seemingly vanished. We live in a world where we feel safe behind our walls. But this is a phantom that travels through vents and lingers in hallways, a master of transmission that demands your absolute attention right now. You cannot afford to look away or assume you are safe, because the moment you stop fearing this silent traveler is exactly when it finds its way through your front door, turning a normal afternoon into a desperate fight for a clear breath and a future free from the devastating scars it leaves behind. The clock is ticking, the air is shared, and the spots are spreading. Do you really know if you're protected, or are you just hoping for the best while the most contagious virus on Earth searches for its next opening? To truly understand what this disease is, I want you to imagine it not just as a simple skin rash, but as one of the most masterful and aggressive viral invaders known to modern science. At its core, this condition is a respiratory infection caused by a specific virus that is so incredibly efficient at spreading that it is often used as the gold standard for how contagious a disease can be. When we talk about how it works, think of the virus as a microscopic hitchhiker that enters your body through the nose or mouth, usually after you have breathed in air that someone else has coughed or sneezed into. Once inside, it doesn't just stay in your throat, it immediately seeks out the lining of your lungs and the back of your throat to begin its takeover. From there, it hitches a ride on your white blood cells, which are supposed to be your protectors, and uses them like a private transit system to travel to your lymph nodes and eventually your entire bloodstream. This is why it affects your whole body, from your eyes and your brain to your lungs and your skin, rather than just staying in one spot. One of the most unique and honestly startling things about this particular virus is its ability to cause what we call immune amnesia, where it actually wipes out the memory cells your body has built up over years to fight off other illnesses like the flu or common colds. It essentially resets your immune system to a blank state, making you vulnerable to other infections long after the initial fever and spots have disappeared. This is why medical professionals take it so seriously. It isn't just about the temporary discomfort, but about the long-term structural damage it can do to your body's ability to defend itself. Imagine a computer virus that doesn't just crash one program, but deletes the entire antivirus software and leaves the front door wide open for every other threat to enter. The characteristic red, blotchy rash that we all recognize is actually your body's own immune system finally trying to fight back. But by the time those spots appear on your forehead or behind your ears, the virus has already been replicating inside you for nearly 2 weeks. It is a deeply complex biological event that can lead to severe swelling in the brain or dangerous infections in the lungs, which is why we must view it as a serious systemic crisis rather than a minor childhood hurdle. This disease is a testament to how a tiny, invisible string of genetic material can bring a healthy person to a total standstill, and understanding its true nature is the first step in realizing why protection is so vital for you and your family. I hope this helps you see the true face of what we are dealing with, because knowledge is the very best tool we have to replace fear with action. Your health and the safety of your little ones are so incredibly precious, and I want you to feel empowered to make the best decisions for their future. Please remember that you don't have to face these worries alone, and staying informed is a beautiful way to show how much you care for those around you. If you found this explanation helpful and it gave you a bit more clarity, please consider subscribing to our channel so we can continue to explore these important health topics together. I would love to walk with you through the next steps of understanding the symptoms and the ways we can keep your home safe. So please reach out and let's keep this conversation going. Would you like me to go into more detail about the specific warning signs you should be looking for right now? When we sit down to talk about what actually causes this condition to take hold, I want you to understand that we are dealing with one of the most persistent and clever travelers in the microscopic world. The root cause is a very specific virus from the paramyxovirus family, a tiny bundle of genetic material that has only one goal: to find a human host and multiply as quickly as possible. Unlike some illnesses that need you to touch a contaminated surface or be bitten by an insect, this virus is primarily airborne, which means the very air we breathe becomes the highway for its transmission. Imagine someone who is infected simply coughing, sneezing, or even just talking in a room. They release thousands of tiny, invisible droplets into the air that are packed with the virus. These droplets are so light that they don't just fall to the ground. They can hang suspended in the air like a ghostly mist for up to 2 hours after that person has walked away. If you walk into that room and breathe in, the virus hitches a ride on your breath and enters your respiratory tract, immediately beginning its work. This incredible efficiency is why we say it is highly contagious. If one person has it, 9 out of 10 people close to them who aren't protected will also catch it. It is a biological chain reaction that relies on human-to-human contact, as the virus cannot survive for long on its own without a host. Once it enters your nose or throat, it targets the cells lining your airways, injecting its own code into them and turning those cells into little factories that churn out more virus particles. From there, it spreads to the local lymph nodes, using your own circulatory system to move through the body like a passenger on a train, eventually reaching the skin, the eyes, and the lungs. It is important to remember that you can be a cause of spread before you even realize you are sick, as the virus starts shedding from your body about 4 days before that famous rash even appears. This silent window is when the virus does its most damage in the community, moving from person to person because no one knows to stay home yet. The cause isn't just the virus itself, but also the lack of pre-existing defense in the body. If your immune system hasn't been taught how to recognize this specific invader through prior exposure or a protective shield, it is essentially caught off guard, allowing the virus to run rampant. It truly is a master of timing and travel, exploiting our social nature and our shared spaces to move from one heart to the next. Understanding this invisible process helps us see that we aren't just dealing with a random bit of bad luck, but a very predictable biological cycle that thrives whenever we let our guard down. By understanding these invisible pathways of infection, you are already putting yourself in a position of strength, because when we know how the enemy moves, we can better protect the ones we love. It can feel a bit overwhelming to think about something so small having such a big impact on our lives, but I want you to know that your awareness is the first and most powerful line of defense. You are doing the right thing by seeking out the why behind the sickness, as this clarity is exactly what helps us keep our homes and our neighborhoods safe and healthy. I want you to feel confident that even though this virus is a master of travel, we have the knowledge to stand in its way and protect the future of our children. If you feel that this explanation helped clear up the mystery of how this illness starts, please think about sharing this with a friend or a parent who might be worried, and don't forget to subscribe so we can continue to look out for each other. I'm here to help you navigate these medical waters with calm and steady guidance, and I'd love to continue this journey with you. Would you like me to move on and explain the specific symptoms you should keep a close eye on so you know exactly what to look for if you're concerned? When your body first encounters this virus, it doesn't immediately show its hand with a rash. Instead, it begins with a deceptive period of quiet, where the virus is secretly multiplying within your system, followed by symptoms that often look like a very bad case of the flu. This initial stage, which we call the prodromal phase, typically starts with a rising fever that can become quite intense, accompanied by a deep hacking cough that sounds dry and painful. You might notice that your eyes become red, watery, and incredibly sensitive to light, almost as if the very sunshine in the room is hurting them, a condition we often call pink eye or conjunctivitis. Your nose will likely start running incessantly, and you'll feel a general sense of misery and exhaustion that keeps you tethered to your bed. Perhaps the most unique early warning sign, if you were to look inside the mouth, are tiny white spots that look like little grains of salt on a red background, usually found on the inside of the cheeks. These are known as Koplik spots, and they are a definitive signal that the full disease is about to arrive. As the days progress, usually about 3 to 5 days after these first signs, the signature rash finally makes its appearance, starting as flat red spots at the hairline and behind the ears, before spreading downward like a slow wave over the face, neck, trunk, and eventually reaching the hands and feet. This rash can be quite itchy and may eventually join together into large, blotchy patches, and as it appears, the fever often spikes even higher, sometimes reaching dangerous levels that can make a person feel delirious or profoundly weak. It is during this time that the body is under the most intense stress, and you must watch very closely for signs that the infection is moving into the lungs or brain, such as extreme shortness of breath, a stiff neck, or an unusual level of confusion and lethargy. The symptoms can last for over a week, leaving the person feeling utterly drained and fragile, even as the spots begin to fade and turn a brownish color. It is a grueling process for the body to endure, especially for little ones who cannot explain the depth of their discomfort. Seeing a loved one go through this is heartbreaking, as the cough can be relentless and the fever can make them feel so distant and frail. It is a reminder of how quickly a simple virus can overwhelm our natural defenses and why we must pay such close attention to the messages our bodies are sending us. Please, if you see these signs developing, especially that descending rash and the light-sensitive eyes, do not try to wait it out or manage it alone without professional guidance. Watching these symptoms unfold can be a frightening and helpless experience, but I want you to know that your vigilance is the most powerful tool you have for keeping your family safe. Your ability to recognize these signs early and respond with calm, decisive action can truly change the course of the illness and prevent the most serious complications from taking hold. It is okay to feel worried, but remember that you are your family's first line of defense, and your care is a beautiful expression of the love you have for them. I want to encourage you to trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, or if the fever seems too high, reach out for help because you deserve the peace of mind that comes with expert support. We are all in this together, and by sharing this knowledge, we are building a safer and more informed community where every child has the chance to grow up healthy and strong. If this explanation of what to look for has helped you feel more prepared and less alone, please consider subscribing to our channel so we can stay connected and continue to learn how to protect the ones we cherish most. Your health journey is important to me, and I would love to hear your thoughts or answer any questions you might have as we move forward. Would you like me to walk you through the next steps regarding prevention and how we can stop this virus from spreading in your home? When we talk about prevention, I want you to feel a sense of profound hope because we are dealing with a disease that is almost entirely preventable through the incredible gift of modern medicine and simple, everyday wisdom. The most powerful shield we have, the one that has saved millions of lives across the globe, is the MMR vaccine, which teaches your immune system exactly how to recognize and defeat this virus before it ever has a chance to cause harm. Think of this vaccine not just as a medical procedure, but as a vital piece of information you are giving to your body, like a most wanted poster that allows your internal guards to spot the intruder the moment it tries to enter. Because this virus is so incredibly contagious, often hanging in the air for hours after someone has left a room, having that pre-existing immunity is like wearing an invisible suit of armor that follows you everywhere you go. For children, this usually happens in 2 doses, and once that cycle is complete, the protection is nearly absolute, lasting a lifetime for the vast majority of people. Beyond the miracle of vaccination, prevention also involves being incredibly smart about our environment and how we interact with others when we know a virus is moving through our community. If you are aware of an outbreak nearby, it is so important to avoid crowded indoor spaces where the air is shared and poorly circulated, as this is exactly where the virus thrives and jumps from one person to another. We also have to talk about the power of simple hygiene, like washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water after being in public places, and teaching our little ones to cover their coughs and sneezes with their elbows rather than their hands. If someone in your home does fall ill, the most loving thing you can do for your neighbors and friends is to practice strict isolation, keeping the sick person away from public spaces for at least 4 days after the rash appears, which is the time they are most likely to spread the infection to others. Another beautiful layer of prevention is maintaining a strong, resilient foundation of health through proper nutrition, especially making sure that children have enough vitamin A in their systems, which has been shown to significantly strengthen the lining of the lungs and eyes against this specific invader. It truly takes a village to keep this virus at bay, and when we choose to protect ourselves, we are also protecting the tiny infant down the street who is too young to be vaccinated, or the neighbor with a weakened immune system who is counting on us to be their shield. Prevention is a quiet, collective act of courage and kindness that ensures our schools remain safe and our playgrounds stay full of healthy, laughing children. By taking these steps, you are not just preventing a fever or a rash, you are safeguarding the future and ensuring that this ancient shadow no longer has a place in our modern world. It is a beautiful thing to realize that through these simple, proactive choices, you have the power to change the story of health for your entire family and community. Taking that step to ensure you and your loved ones are protected is one of the most significant acts of care you can perform, and it brings a peace of mind that is truly priceless in today's world. I want you to know that your commitment to staying informed and taking action is exactly what builds a safer world for all of us, and I am so deeply honored to be a part of your journey toward health. Please, don't let fear or uncertainty hold you back. Reach out to your local health provider, ask the questions you need to ask, and take that step toward total protection today, because your peace of mind is worth every effort. If this message of prevention has resonated with you and you want to continue learning how to keep your home a sanctuary of health, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing this video with another parent who might be looking for guidance. We are all connected in this effort to keep our children safe, and your support helps us spread this vital information to every corner of the globe. I am so grateful for your time and your heart, and I would love to continue walking this path with you as we explore even more ways to live a vibrant, healthy life. Would you like me to move on to the next section where we discuss the treatments and how to care for someone who is currently struggling with the infection? When we talk about the treatment for this condition, the most important thing to understand is that we don't have a specific medicine that can kill this virus once it has taken hold. Instead, our entire goal is to support the body, ease the suffering, and prevent the dangerous complications that can arise while the immune system fights its difficult battle. Because it is a viral infection, antibiotics won't work on the virus itself, so treatment really becomes an act of gentle, patient care and focused monitoring at home or in a clinical setting. The very first priority is managing the intense fever and the body aches that make the person feel so miserable, usually by using simple, over-the-counter fever reducers like acetaminophen or ibuprofen. But I must remind you to never give aspirin to children with a viral illness because of the risk of serious side effects. Hydration is the next vital pillar of care. The high fever and the constant coughing can quickly drain the body of fluids, so we encourage frequent sips of water, electrolyte drinks, or even warm broths to keep the throat moist and the system running. Because the eyes become so sensitive to light, one of the most helpful things you can do is dim the lights in the room or draw the curtains, creating a soft, soothing sanctuary that doesn't assault their senses. To help with the relentless, dry cough, using a cool mist humidifier can add much-needed moisture to the air, making it just a little bit easier for them to catch their breath. In many parts of the world, doctors will also prescribe high doses of vitamin A, which acts like a specialized fuel for the immune system and has been shown to significantly reduce the severity of the illness and protect the eyes and lungs from permanent damage. If a secondary infection like pneumonia or an ear infection develops, which happens because the virus weakens the body's defenses, that is when a doctor might step in with antibiotics to fight those specific bacterial invaders. Throughout this entire process, Rest is absolutely non-negotiable. The body is using every ounce of its energy to build a defense, so the patient needs a quiet, stress-free environment where they can sleep and recover without distraction. It is a long and often frightening week or two, and as a caregiver, your most important job is to be the watchful guardian, looking for those red flag signs like difficulty breathing or extreme lethargy that mean it's time to seek emergency help. We focus on comfort, we focus on safety, and we focus on giving the body the time and the tools it needs to heal itself from the inside out. It is truly a journey of patience and deep love to care for someone through this illness, but I want you to know that your presence and your attentive care are the most healing medicines of all, even in the darkest hours when the fever is high and the cough is loud. Remember that every small comfort you provide, a cool cloth for the forehead, a spoonful of water, or a quiet word of encouragement, is helping their body win this fight. You are not alone in this, and by following these supportive steps, you are building a bridge to recovery and a future of renewed health for your loved ones. My heart goes out to every parent and caregiver currently standing watch, and I want to remind you that your strength is incredible, and your dedication is the foundation of your family's well-being. If you are going through this right now, please stay strong, keep a close eye on the signs we discussed, and never hesitate to reach out for professional help when your instincts tell you something is wrong. We are here to support you with information and care, and if you found this guidance helpful during a difficult time, please consider subscribing to join our community so we can continue to look out for one another. You are doing a wonderful job in a very tough situation, and I truly believe that with the right care and a lot of heart, your home will be full of health and laughter once again very soon. Stay safe, stay hopeful, and remember that we are walking this path toward wellness together, one day at a time. Would you like me to provide a summary of the key recovery signs you should look for as the illness begins to fade? As we draw this conversation to a close, I want you to take a long, deep breath and let the weight of everything we've discussed settle into a place of quiet strength rather than fear. It is completely natural to feel a bit overwhelmed when we talk about the power of an invisible virus and the serious toll it can take on the human body, but I want you to look at how much you've already achieved just by staying here and seeking the truth. By choosing to educate yourself, you have moved from a place of uncertainty into a place of empowerment, and that is the most important step any parent or caregiver can ever take for their family. I want you to remember that your home is a sanctuary, and you have every tool necessary to keep it safe, from the simple act of washing hands to the life-saving shield of protection that modern medicine provides. Think of your health journey not as a battle you fight alone, but as a shared path. We are all walking together, looking out for one another, and ensuring that the most vulnerable among us are never left behind. There is so much beauty in the resilience of the human body and so much hope in our collective ability to look after our neighbors, our friends, and our children. If you are feeling worried tonight, or if you are currently sitting by a bedside watching a loved one recover, please know that your presence is a powerful medicine and your love is a light that guides them back to health. You are doing the very best you can with the information you have, and that is more than enough to make a massive difference in the world. We live in an age where we no longer have to live in constant shadow of these ancient illnesses because we have the light of knowledge to guide us toward a safer tomorrow. I want you to carry this sense of peace with you as you move through your week, knowing that you are informed, you are prepared, and you are deeply capable of protecting what matters most. Your health and your peace of mind are the foundation of a happy life, and it is an absolute honor for me to be a small part of your support system as you navigate these important choices. Please take a moment to be kind to yourself today and recognize the incredible job you are doing just by caring enough to learn and grow. You are the heartbeat of your family's wellness, and your dedication to staying informed is a gift that will keep giving for years to come. If this video brought you a sense of clarity, or if it helped calm some of the noise in your mind, I would be so grateful if you would subscribe to our channel and join our growing community of health-conscious hearts. Sharing this message with just one other person could be the very thing that helps them find their own path to safety and peace. We are building something special here. A place where medical knowledge meets genuine compassion, and I don't want you to miss out on any of the support we have planned for the future. Thank you for trusting me with your time and for allowing me into your space today to talk about these vital issues. I am sending so much strength and health to you and your loved ones, and I truly look forward to seeing you in our next video. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and always remember that you are never walking this path alone. Would you like me to create a simple checklist for you to keep on your fridge so you always have these safety steps handy for your family?